Okay, so here we were reading the commentary on the 10th canto 14:14, and in the commentary, I just happened to read these words about Garbhodakshai Vishnu. It says, it was the Lord's Swarupa, since it was manifested from the Lord's Swarupa Shakti, which is intense Vishuddha Sattva. For it is said that, this is the commentary known as Laghu Jiva Goswami's 10th canto ka special commentary, Laghu Toshni. For it is said that this form is filled with the highest bliss. For it is said that this form is filled with the highest bliss. Natha param param yad bhavatah swarupam ananda matram. This is your supreme form composed only of bliss. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9.3. We'll go to that. Shruti says, Kohi evanayat. If there were not this bliss, who would breathe? Taittiriya Upanishad 2.7.1. That form is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.4. Again, Garbhodakshai Vishnu again. In that various incarnations of Krishna ka. Now this solved one of my greatest misery doubts that I had since many years. I always knew that anybody who knows the three Purushas, Karanadakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu is liberated from the material world. I always knew that these three were somehow connected to Sat Chit Ananda realization, because all Shastras, everything is somehow connected to this Sandhini, Samvit and Ladini. Now this was very clear, and it was rudimentary knowledge that Karanadakshai Vishnu represents Sandhini Shakti without any doubt, because Sandhini's existence, all universes are coming out, are generating from Mahavishnu, Karanadakshai Vishnu. So that's a no-brainer for most part. But the next thing, Shirodakshai Vishnu is also pretty evident, because Paramatma realization is Chit realization, Sat Chit realization. Sat is Brahman realization, Sat Chit is Paramatma realization. So he is the Paramatma. So Chit realization, the Chit Shakti or Samvit Shakti has to be connected with Shirodakshai Vishnu. He is there in the heart, he gives knowledge to everybody, he gives cognizance to the entire living entities. He is Paramatma, by which the Atma itself can perceive the material world and stuff like that. So everything is happening through orchestrating the orchestrator of the material world. Leelas, everything is being conducted by Paramatma. So in that sense, it's very clear that the Chit part or Samvit part, the Vishnu which is controlling the Samvit Shakti of Lord Krishna, is definitely Shirodakshai Vishnu. Now the biggest doubt that I had is how to connect Ladini Shakti with Garbhodakshai Vishnu. I was not able to understand that. And it remained a sort of a confusion or a doubt. And that key remained, that key part of the puzzle remained unsolved for many years. Until today, when I actually read this commentary of Jiva Goswami, Laghu Toshani, which is a 10th canto exclusive commentary by Jiva Goswami, and there he mentions that this form of the Lord Garbhodakshai Vishnu is a form that is made of intense bliss. And the words used is Ananda Matram by Lord Brahma in 3.9.3. So that, set the things rolling, and I could get the link that this is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Things started to make sense. He's known as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is also known as Hiranya Garbha, golden form of Garbha. He's golden in color. And you know who is golden in color? Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, or Lord Gauranga. When he comes in the bhav of Radharani, he is golden. So Hiranya Garbha rings a bell. It's like there's a connection there. And also, what I could understand was that the mode of passion, actually we know that all spiritual modes have a counterpart. They manifest, Prabhupada says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, they manifest the three modes, Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini. When they perverted, they form the three modes actually, proving that the living entity is still a servant to the Lord all the time, controlled in the material world by the modes, and the spiritual world by the three spiritual modes. So he has to serve the Lord in different ways. So from that perspective, mode of goodness is sattva, and that is Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva is Sandhini Shakti. We all know another name for Shuddha Sattva, Sandhini Shakti. So naturally that mode has a connection with the Shuddha Sattva, the creational part, Sandhini Sattva, because mind is created from Ahankara through Sattvic Vikara. So it has connection with, and from mind, everything else is projected on the mind actually. Material world is just a dream-like projection on the mind. Mind is the main hardware. The only creation thing that is created from Sattva is mind and sense Devta post. If you see the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, everything else is projected. Like Rajoguna and Tamoguna simply create the subtle body, which is a projection on the mind, and the universe, which is the Tanmatras and the Panchamahabhutas, also projections on the mind. The only hardware that is created from Sattva, Sattva represents hardware kind of stuff, things which are actually created. So in the spiritual world, everything is created through Sandhini or Shuddha Sattva. Material world, only the mind and the sense Devta posts are created through Sandhini or Shuddha Sattva, perverted Sattva. So that Sattva is creating mind means everything else is like a dream. It's projection on the mind. There is no real creation. Sandhini is not creating the subtle body and stuff like that. That is just projections on the mind, probably using Ahankara layer again, of course, and stuff like that. So actual substantial thing is the mind. So when the mind is cleared from Rajoguna and Tamogunas, these layers and these, or you can say the software, they are not asat actually. That which is not sattva, which is actually subtle, or you can say asat is something like which is like a software. Hardware is sattva, sat, that's the hardware. Na sato vidyate bhava na bhava. So that which exists is actually the mind. And the Jivatma is integrated to the mind, and just like a video game, he sees the world which is projected inside the machine known as the mind. When the mind is cleared of Rajogun and Tamagun, mind is simply a machine which is switched off, like a TV, television, or a cinema that is switched off. It is pure sattva. It's simply existence. So the moment Rajogun and Tamagun are removed, or the software is shut down, the Jivatma experiences Brahma Jyoti or Brahman realization. And then when the spiritual energies are enacting and modifying the sattva, like that's known as Vishuddha Sattva. So there is sattva which is a contaminated sattva which is overlaid with Rajoguna and Tamogun, that forms the material world. And then there is Shuddha Sattva which forms Brahma Jyoti, basically nothing but existence without any Ladini Shakti, without any Samvit Shakti acting on it, more or less. And then when Sandhini and Samvit and Ladini Shakti act on Sattva, they form Vishuddha Sattva, spiritual world, and all the varieties of the spiritual world, stuff like that. So basically, coming back to our point, Garbhodakshai Vishnu represents Brahma, who actually is imbued with the power, with the partial power of the mode of passion. What is passion? So if you were to see the three modes and their correlation with because Prabhupada doesn't define which mode is which. He says the modes have come from the spiritual modes. They are effectuating that, but he doesn't go into details in Chaitanya Charitamrita to describe which mode is which. So we can easily kind of understand which mode is which. Sattva is Shuddha Sattva, spiritual mode of Sandhini. Rajoguna is definitely that guna which gives you pleasure or passion, Ananda, so which is the Ananda Shakti, Ladini Shakti, Tapakari Lada, or perverted form of Ladini is definitely Rajoguna. And Tamoguna is ignorance, which is knowledge. Knowledge is Samvit Shakti or cognizance and or perception. So Tamoguna gives you perceptions like sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of everything. These are knowledge actually. But ignorant knowledge, like avidya they call it, or knowledge which is binding you to the material world. So it creates the five Panch Mahabhutas and gives you perception of those five Panch Mahabhutas, integrated perception. Like so you can see the sense of touch integrates with a particular thing and creates a particular element. So they can touch that particular element, like earth you can touch, smell, hear, stuff like that. So perceptions basically is coming from Tamoguna. Therefore a person in the Tamoguna is only preoccupied with perception. Like he doesn't consider, because personality comes from Rajoguna, emotions, personality, subtle body, identification, because intelligence, a repository of vasanas, everything, prana shakti, it's the karmendriya, gyanendriya, these are all generated from the Rajoguna. Your subtle body is generated from Rajoguna. Your basically it is like your virtual video game avatar is Rajoguna generated, and the video game world is generated, perceptions is generated through Tamoguna. Now, when a person is preoccupied with perceptions only and he doesn't even consider people as people, like he doesn't consider a woman as woman, just wants to enjoy sex life, just perception of touch, smell, that's all he's preoccupied, he becomes very gross. And then he gets the body of a tree where he has only one sense, the sense of perception of touch, that's all. He can't smell, he can't do anything, he just can't. So like that. So when he's preoccupied with only perceptions, only sense enjoyment, to a certain extent that he doesn't consider living, dead, he doesn't care about people, he doesn't care about anybody, he can murder, kill anybody, use any person's body as he wishes, just because he doesn't have any personality. He's just become a dead kind of a person who's just interested in perceptions. So he goes into mode of ignorance. So if he's interested in only his own persons, and like his subtle body, he is completely engrossed in the subtle body. That means ahankara, that layer is very strongly represented by, of course, ahankara represents tamoguna also, rajoguna and sattva also. But this particular part where subtle body he is identifying, that becomes like people who are very much, into enjoying the world and suffering in the world and trying to get passionate and stuff like that. So that then they are born as human beings, or I don't know, like something like that. And sattva guna is where a person completely sees the world as kind of a projection. He doesn't see, he just is interested in the Brahman more or less. So he gets into higher planets, and sattva guna is predominant. He gets into where he doesn't see the world and the subtle body. He's neither interested in the subtle body nor interested in perceptual pleasures of tamoguna. So he just sees the existence like through the mind, purified mind, sattva. So because of that, immediately he is promoted higher stuff. So yeah, so basically coming back to our point, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, because he is generating Brahmaji and imbuing him with the power of the mode of passion, which is Ananda Shakti. That is why he is the controller of Ananda, Ladini Shakti. So now we are clear. Sandhini part of Vishnu, who is in charge of Sandhini, is Mahavishnu, creation. In Ladini, passion, mode of passion and stuff like that, that is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, Hiranya Garbha, golden, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radharani, Tattva Kanchana Gaurani. So it's like very clear. And third is Sirugdaksha Vishnu, who is the Chitput, who is controlling the Samvit Shakti. So Paramatma. So Paramatma is like Paramatma Vadis are yogis who are predominantly with Satchit realization. Prabhupada says Satchit. Chit realization means Paramatma realization. That means Sirugdaksha Vishnu. Chit is Samvit Shakti of Lord Krishna. Why do we call it Satchit? Because Chit cannot exist without Sat. Existence has to be there, then there can be cognizance. And then when existence and cognizance are both there, then there can be Ladini or emotions. But when emotions, the moment emotion comes, she governs both the Sandhini and Samvit. They go into the background and emotion controls everything. That's spiritual world. Radharani controls everything in that sense. So this was the point. So now we'll go back to the actual proof. So this is 3.9.3. Here we see Na atha param parama yat bhavata. Lord Brahma is talking about Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Swarupam Ananda Matram. This is the verse where you can see Swarupam Ananda Matram. He is talking about this. I have highlighted it. And this is the Falashruti, Bhagavad Gita, which is the verse 7.4 purport. And many other places also Prabhupada said. Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. The first is Mahavishnu, creates a total material energy known as Mahat Tattva. The second, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, enters into the universes to create diversities. Now again, diversities is created by Ladini Shakti always. So even Krishna's form in the spiritual world, the diversities in the form is created by Ananda. What do you mean by diversities? Like Krishna, when he goes into ecstasy, a different mood, his bhav changes, then he becomes Jagannath. And when his mood changes again, he becomes Lord Chaitanya. So Ananda determines Chit and Chit determines Sat. So that's why he's known as Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. By his various bhavas, he manifests his various forms. Eternally, of course, these bhavas are eternally there. So when a devotee invokes a particular bhava, the diversities of the forms are created. So that's why Garbhodakshai Vishnu enters into the universe to create diversities in each of them. So that is Ladini Shakti, or mode of passion is required for diversities. Material world, of course, mode of passion, not Ladini Shakti. All things are perverted forms actually. But the original Garbhodakshai Vishnu, because the energy that is giving into unto Maya, or through and then from Maya into Lord Brahma, all of these things, the spiritual energy counterpart is Ladini, and then it gets perverted and everything. Lord Vishnu is, of course, pure. He is not directly connected to Maya, but as Lord Shiva, he manipulates the material world. Like he is the Upadana Karana, or material, just like milk is Vishnu and matter is curd. So spirit is Vishnu, matter is curd. Pradhana, the Lord of Pradhana is Shiva. So the material cause of the universe is Shiva, and the efficient cause is Maya. Through Yoga Maya, everything is created then. The material ingredients are coming from Shiva's body, and the architect of the universe is Durga. Actually Yoga Maya, who is the cause of Durga. Durga is simply a mechanism by which Yoga Maya operates, as we have seen from the previous videos also. So enters all the universes and to create diversities in each of them. The third Shirodakshai Vishnu is diffused as the all-pervading super soul in all the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. So Paramatma is not only present in the heart but also within the atoms. Anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. That is the Falashruti. It's also there in the Bhagavatam that anybody who knows these three Vishnus is liberated from the material. And as you know, whenever it comes, the talk comes of the highest knowledge or the greatest knowledge, the secret knowledge or the Guhya knowledge, it's always come to Sandhini Samvit Ladini. Sandhini Samvit Ladini always comes into the picture. So how it is happening? So there are many secret verses. Like if you see the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Gayatri mantras, all of them have the same secret. That's why they are liberating. Hare Krishna mantra also has the same thing. So the Hara has the potency of the Lord, Krishna has got all the various Krishnas, and Rama has got all the various expansions, including Balram and then everybody else. So it is a complete mantra, Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna.